a puppy. Okay, so puppy. All right, don't. You're doing too much. You're going too far. You're going too far ahead. All right.
And he's talking to Paul.
So I'm talking about my grandfather. My grandfather was one of the greatest influences of my life, right? So my grandfather was, his mother was raped by a white man. So he always wanted to kill him, and when he was born, because he knew it. So, but the dude was a friend of the family. So everybody was like, nah. So they moved him in with like an aunt or uncle or some shit. And their last name was Hankinson or something like that. But he ends up changing the name when they moved to Philly to Hank Curson. So my grandfather was the first free man I ever knew because he didn't have his slave name. He gave a whole brand new name, and that's the name my mother carried and my aunt carried, you dig? And they had a bunch of kids in between, but they all died, which is crazy. So my mother was the oldest. She had a brother that went to like 16 or 17 and he died of like leukemia. Then there was like two twins and they died like crib death. And then there was a baby that died of childbirth. And then my aunt. And my aunt never had kids. So my grandfather was like this type, like he just hated, he was George Jefferson. 6 foot tall, over 6 foot. He used to duck coming in our crib. But he hated white folks. He had this whole big issue. So he had all these like laws and rules. And I was telling them how my grandpa used to like wear plaid pants and striped shirts. But the shit that he would say stripes and stripes match because the plaid pants, there was a line going this way. So that made it match, right? And I was like, I can't really argue with that. So my Pop-Pop, we called him Pop-Pop, right? So Pop-Pop had a dog, which I thought the dog's name was Puppy. It was very furry. It was maybe about this big. She was vicious as hell. It was maybe about that big. She was vicious as hell. The only person she didn't fuck with was my mama. My mom was like, she was a bitch. The bitch gene runs in my family. My mom had it. My Aunt Julia had it, my sister had it, and now one of her daughters got it, right? It runs in their family, right? So my mama was a bitch. So like, but, so when I was a kid, my mom would try to make me, we would spend every summer, we moved to Jersey, and we would spend every summer in Philly. So I would jump in the bed, because my mom would try to make me take a bath, and Puppy would lay across my chest. And when my mom would come to make me take a bath, she would snap at her. And she would be like, I ain't scared of you. And she would smack the shit out of her, nigga. And Puppy would be boom, and now I had to take a bath, right? So that's what it was. So Puppy was Pop-Pop's dog. He say, sick him, Puppy, get on your ass. I don't give a pit bull, whatever. Puppy will bring it to you. Years pass. My Pop-Pop passes away. Not even like a week later, guess who passes away? Puppy passes away. So I'm like, man, like that was my family. Pop-Pop used to always say, I was Pop-Pop's man. That was my nickname. It was my first nickname. The Pop-Pop man. He had a stutter problem. The Pop-Pop man. You and your me, we go to get a camper and go get on the floor and get some chippies. We was gonna get some chippies. I didn't know what the fuck chippies was. But at 5 years old, Chippies sounded fucking cool as hell, right? Chippies was bitches. Chippies was bitches. So Pop-Pop would say, ain't that a cool way to say fucking bitches, right? He would say, Pop, we gonna get some Chippies. Pop-Pop was all about new ass. Married to the same ass all his life, but all about new ass. So he said, we gonna go down and get some chippies. And I'm like, yeah, let's go get some chippies. I didn't know what the fuck chippy was. It just sounded cool. So I'd be like, yeah, we gonna get some chippies. I'm 5 years old, nigga. It sounds exciting. So, when Pop-Pop passes away, and Puppy passes away, one day me and my sister get into this big argument about Puppy's name. My sister says Puppy's real name was Puffy. And I say, no the fuck it wasn't. It was Puppy, nigga. I was Pop-Pop's man. Puppy, and Puppy always came to me. She would bite anybody I sick her on. Only nigga that could fuck with Puppy other than Pop-Pop was me. Not my sister, not my brother, nobody. Nigga, her name was Puppy. So we call Aunt Juliet. Guess what the fucking dog's name is? Puffy. 40 fucking years, nigga. I think the dog's name was Puppy. But that's not the shocker. You know why they called her Puffy?
Why?
Because Puffy was a fucking poodle. But like regular black folks, they just let their hair fucking go crazy. They never shaved her. My mama and papa had statues of poodles around the house. And I used to be like, why they got these fucking statues of these great poodles? And all of a sudden, for 40 fucking years, it all comes to a fucking instant. Puppy was a poodle and they never cut her. She never looked like a fucking poodle, nigga.
Okay. Okay. He did a whole monologue.
I did all that to tell you, black folks do the damnedest things.
Okay, they don't cut their dogs.
Puppy was a poodle. I never knew it. I'm fucking 43, nigga. I just found out. I never knew Puppy was a poodle. Never. Trim your fucking dogs.